Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I'm your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Today's show is going to be a little bit interesting. I've had a lot of stuff going on this week. I got my father has had hip replacement surgery. On top of trying to get ready for a upcoming tournament and just all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. Just haven't had a whole lot of time. So I talked about this in part from a live stream with Civil War, going over Civil War and its impact in really constructed 300-point modern. And so we're just going to go over that. I have my thoughts on shootings and all the other stuff. That'll be in a separate video. So if you don't want to see that, cool. Or listen to that, cool. If you do, that'll be in a different video. All right, let's sort of get started. I'm going to give you a brief overview of my thought of Civil War OP. Civil War OP set is a set that in and of itself is not highly effective in changing the current meta, but does display what WizKids is trying to do. Okay, so it's not highly effective in changing the meta, but it does display what WizKids is trying to do. And until the meta shifts, and really all we have is like X-Men Forward, this set really, it's going to hit a weird place in just overall play. And really, unfortunately, the reality is that since X-Men sort of hit literally the tail end of a separate block, it really won't fully come into full us understanding the impacts of this new sort of game design really won't come into play for a while. Okay, so let's sort of get started. First up is Captain America, and Captain America is okay. You notice that first off, he has improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, ignores characters, and that's pretty cool. Then he has precision strike, 10 attack, 17 defense. With a special power allows him to get energy shield deflection and toughness, but he can't be targeted by ranged combat expert, which has its advantages. And then he has a leadership that would consider him as 100 on his damage special power, and he can use close combat expert. So that's pretty nice. Overall, the usefulness of this figure is really minor. I don't really see most people using it unless it's a call-in figure, and this is sort of the theme that you're going to see with a lot of these figures that I'm going to list off, is that they're really not useful unless you call them in via ID characters. And they're really not worth it as like permanent figures for the Quinjet. So this is where it gets really interesting. The fact that you can have precision strike, 11 attack, 4 damage, or just a 12 attack, 3 damage, or a 10-5 because of combat expert, close combat expert, really is something that I do think is useful. The mid dial, if you get knocked onto it, having flurry and outwit is very, very strong. The only problem that I see with that is you really can't control it, and the fact that once you land onto that outwit, there's really other things I feel at that stage that you need to be more concerned about. I know that he has a very interesting trait. His trait is pretty much trash. I hate to say it. It's pure trash. It's too situational and doesn't allow you to use it in a lot of games. Just a lot of games. Yes, I know armor is cool and robot is on the rise. But when you have a once per game effect and you're facing an Ultron drone swarm, I'm sorry, there's very little that you can do. All right, next up is Iron Man. Iron Man pretty much has the similar stats to Captain America, except he doesn't have those wonderful 11 attack clicks in the middle of his dial. And again, Captain America is compensating for the fact that he does not have flight. So when we start looking at uh, Iron Man, first things first is that he by far is probably going to be one of the more useful figures out of this set that this comes out of this set for the fact that he's cheap. He gives you range combat expert, a 6 range, end on. The energy explosion is nice, but most of the time it's really not going to matter. The fact that he has a once per game effect that allows him to just say, hey, guess what? If I share a keyword with you, I can just turn off stuff. And he has a lot of keywords, a lot of good keywords. Armor, Avengers, Illuminati, Shield, Scientist. That's a really wide gambit that allows you to just be really effective. So I find that the Iron Man works out a lot better. He has immunity to close combat expert up front, which big whoop. That's not that much of a deal. And then you see that he has the leadership in the range combat expert. I feel that that is way stronger. The fact that you can do a lot more with the range combat expert and than you can with close combat expert. So I feel that we're going to have a shift, and I think that this shift is going to. I believe that this shift is going to cause people to really reevaluate um, what is going on. Um, yeah, just reevaluate what's going on in the meta. All right, let's move on to Vision. Vision is primarily there for ID cards. I think that's it. Right now, I don't think there's any utility that you can get out of Vision from a standard team. I know some people say Young Avengers. I'm like, it's not enough of a competitive team right now without some sort of cool ATA to make them functional. So no, this is not a good idea. Miss Marvel, I think Miss Marvel is the beginning of the question that WizKids really needs to ask itself is, if you have a character on a team that can do 5 to 6 damage, the average clicks of life is 5 to 6 of a figure now. Combined with an outwit, is this a balanced figure? And that's where I'm really wondering, because Miss Marvel does set up a situation that in probably a year from now she could be viable. Now note, I say could be. Again, range combat attacks doing, stupid level damage is way easier to pull off with, enhancement and Henrys and all the other good jank. But the real question that still stands is, if you are able to easily do 6 damage and the average character is 6 clicks length, what happens? And just to prove it, all I need to do is perplex up her damage once and have her pick up a heavy. And she can, really just with a heavy, she can one-shot most X-Men once their defense is outwitted. With one perplex, she can one-shot most Avengers. So now you're in this new perspective of, okay, what is the role of a character like this in the meta going forward? Her trait is okay. Photonic absorption with Miss Marvel is hit by a character that can use penetrating psychic blast or pulse wave after actions resolve. Remove an action token from her. If you can't heal her one click, this can't be ignored. That gives her a little bit of fuel for the fire. Definitely the fact that, let's just say she gets hit for 3 psychic blast, then she can, either come back and say, hey, I take a token off, or hey, I was already cleared, so I'm just going to heal 1. So now I'm going to do running shot psychic blast for 3 damage instead of 2. And I think that that's really good. You can't really pimp it out that bad. But considering that the majority of the range combat attacks are Psychic Blast and Pulse Wave, that trait is really good. But then again, like I said, I really do believe that she's mainly going to be ID card fodder. A year from now, you can start probably looking at her for proper teams. Next up is Hercules. Hercules, I actually think, is great for ID cards because he's a cheap summon in that can come in and pick up a heavy and do 6. And this is my point about the shift in the meta, is that once you have a character that comes in and is able to do 6 damage and one-shot things, what do you do? Okay? I mean, what do you do? I really am asking myself, if I was to build a team and I was to utilize Hercules, what type of things do I have to have in play? In particular, what sort of things do I really? What would be required to make a team that's a little bit more positionally based that can survive? Now, note, I mean, there's tons of like cannon-y figures out there right now that can do a lot of damage, but I'm really starting to wonder that as time progresses, are we going to start looking at 4 to 5 figure teams and what's all involved with that? But overall, Hercules has some really good viable moments in his dial, definitely up front. And if he gets hit, he's not crippled. He has traded super strength. You combine that with his charge plasticity, it's really good. He almost pretty much has a full dial of move and attack if you sort of look at it like that. Let's look at She-Hulk. She-Hulk is really an inferior version, unfortunately, of Hercules. But she does have improved movement, destroys blocking, and can move through blocking terrain, which is great for the fact that you can set up behind walls or deal with your opponent's barriers and just be like, move, get out the way. And I will, she comes in and delivers papers. She has super strength, so she's also too able to drop the 6 damage, which is, really good. But at the same time, again, we're asking ourselves this: what is her role in the meta? How are you going to develop her in the future? And I think there's going to be a lot of problems going down the road when you start looking at the advantages and disadvantages of She-Hulk. But again, 6 clicks. She easily can be outwitted and then get one-shotted by Hercules and vice versa. She can one-shot Hercules if Hercules gets his defense outwitted. So I don't really know how to place this. Again, I think like barrier and any sort of like team outwit protection is going to be more and more crucial as the year progresses. But that's just something I'm just noticing off the bat. Daredevil, only calling him in for the ID card. Wasp, same thing, only for ID card. Spider-Woman, because you couldn't get the super rare. That's the only reason why you are bringing her in, is for the ID card. Yellow Jacket, this guy is broken. He is broken. You get one Yellow Jacket, and you just say, hey, help him with all 42 plans. Yellow Jacket can use Perplex, and when he does, choose one. Yellow Jacket can use Perplex normally, or a unique modifier. He may choose Perplex to target all friendly characters within 4 squares in line of fire. Choose a single combat value to modify. So you cannot, and to my knowledge, as of right now, you can't have 2 Yellow Jackets and then say, like, hey, this one does attack and this one does damage. But the one thing I do like about this is that this is a unique modifier that can affect any stat. Any stat. And that's the real kicker, is that you can make it so that you can do attack, defense, damage, which a lot of unique modifiers do not affect. I think that this, out of all the figures in the set, is the most meta, most useful, most easily to build around, most utility that you're going to get. Sidestep, gets in the position, perplexes. He has a trait that says hidden agenda when friendly character is KO'd. Heal Yellow Jacket, 1 click. And here's one of the big things that I like about this. You combine them with ants. everything that he has is really, really, really good with combining with ants. It's like, oh, ant died from an attack, heal Yellow Jacket a click. Oh, perplex up all of my ants, defense by one. Good luck hitting them. Oh, I'm now going to proceed to up their damage. Oh, and they have Empower. Or I'm going to up their attack. Oh, yeah, they have Empower now because of Hank Pym. Okay, yeah, they're now a 10, 10 damage. Sorry, 10 attack, 4 damage. Okay, great. Little things like that uh, is really, really useful. That in the right hands you can do a lot with. Luke Cage again, ID character. Um, let's look at Spider-Man number 13. I don't think is that good. But when you look at Spider-Man number 14, he is hugely of a game changer. Huge game changer. Uh, Spider-Man TA. He has access to running shot and the flight ability with his special power, but that does overlap, and I wonder how the costing went with his improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, and ignores hindering terrain. Now, it says that he has the flight ability. If that allows him to carry, I don't think so. It just allows him to fly, since the carry ability is now separate. That he doesn't have the flight symbol. Now, if it allowed him to use the flight symbol, that would have been great. But anyway, you also have access to the fact that he has traded shape change, and if he's hit with a ranged combat attack this turn, he can use sidestep. Um, and that's pretty nice, is that he can use sidestep. Now, where I find the fact that he can running shot, triple target, incapacitate, and just lock stuff down. I find that to be really, really strong as a mechanic. Unfortunately, he doesn't have willpower, but there are tons of ways to find a way of getting him willpower. His defense is already high, so he combines well with Book of the Skull. Not Book of the Skull. With Pandora's Box, with any of the sins, depending on how you want to play him. And the one part that I really, really, really enjoy about this piece is that no matter how you play him and what click he's on, he is extremely useful. You can't deal with, Pulse Wave. Pulse Wave will just, splat you, like everybody else. But your opponent, if they hit you wrong, will have to deal with Shape Change and Super Senses. And if you have your Spider-Man, TA, now they have to deal with Scrolls or something else if you want to make it real annoying. So you can really stack some great stuff on him to make him a annoying Spider-Man, unlike number 13. Like this one is probably one of the more powerful ones. If you go into Golden Age, Star Sapphire, no, not Star Sapphire. I don't want to say Orange Battery, and I don't want to say Yellow Battery. Green Lantern Battery with a sniper rifle. Green Lantern Battery with the sniper rifle. This sucker is he's definitely going to be boss then. All right, let's move on. I need to talk about Bullseye. Bullseye, in my opinion, is he's a Pinocchio. He's animated, but he's not quite a real boy yet. If he had 3 damage, straight up, like this dude get multiples, watch him be built around, and no tactics, and even in tactics. I can't say that right now. There's too many things that he needs. Number one, he only has 1 target. That's a problem. Number 2 is that if you invest in getting multiple shield figures, or even, busting out a shield level 7 ID card, so everybody adjacent to Nick Fury or whoever your shield person is, or shield level 1, can use shield, you still have a problem. The fact is that you're using other characters to take power actions to increase Bullseye's damage output. And if I'm paying 70 points, we've already seen that there's other figures, in the meta that I can pull out that can do crazy level damage, and I don't have to invest as much in them. The key element is this: for 5 more points, I can have a 75 points World's Finest with dual attack, 11 attack, 4 damage, with no damage depletion modifier. So what would you have? What would you rather have? 5 more points, world's finest, or 70 points, 5 points less, and this bullseye? Okay, like which would you rather have? Now, the one thing that is nice is that he has improved targeting, ignores hindering, ignores characters, and may make ranged combat attacks against any opposing character within range and line of fire, even if that character is in an adjacent square. So it sort of gives him a sharpshooter-esque type setup. Uh, you also have the Justice like Lightning after actions resolve, which bullseye damage one or more opposing character with an attack. Roll a d6 that can't be rerolled. A 5 through 6, remove an action token from a friendly character with a Thunderbolts keyword within 4 squares. Now, you can use this to keep him, to keep going. And I can fully see this. I can fully see this. And you even combine it with the Mark token. Sorry, this one's got your name on it. Bullseye damages an opposing character with an attack. Place a Mark token on that character's card. When Bullseye targets a character with a Mark token with an attack, he may remove one Mark token from that character, increases damage dealt to that character by 1 if he hits. It's too much chip. It's not enough damage. It's too much like, okay, I hit you for 2. Now I'm going to come back the next turn and I'm going to hit you for 3 now because I put a Mark token on you. It is too much. Now, if you were to say, all right, I have 2 bullseyes and I'm just sort of alternating back and forth, I would still say, which would you rather have? 2 bullseyes who potentially, with a 12 attack, can do 3 damage each, or would you have a World's Finest and a Prober, or a World's Finest and a Perplex for equal points? I'd rather have World's Finest and a Perplex. So you could go say, hey, Dark Logos, Thunderbolts keyword, coolness there. I don't disagree. There's coolness there. Problems, cost of Thunderbolts. Now we're adding that factor into him. So there is a lot here that is positive. And I do believe going forward that this figure could be very useful in the new heroclix age once everything sort of settles out as like a guaranteed finisher piece that you're able to land that last crucial hit that you need to hit. Definitely, since we're not seeing stupid level defense modifications continued to be introduced. The last time that we've seen high defense mods is really Pandora's Box with the Sins. But we haven't seen that. We haven't seen crazy high, just flat offensive mods either. So that's useful to see as well. The only thing that we have close to that is the Green Arrow card and the Hellcat card, because both of those give +2 to your attack range and melee, respectively. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to skip all the way down to Jester. Jester, I believe, is going to be a unique character that's going to provide interesting ways for people to think about how they're going to utilize the meta and timing. Jester's powers really don't matter. They really don't. Okay, I push him to clicks 2 for a Perplex, or I have him on even clicks, he has Perplex. On odd clicks, he has Blaze Claw's Fangs. Okay, there we go. That summarizes Jester right there. That and Incapacitate. Yeah, 4 range, great. All right. Let's get to the meat of Jester. And Jester's being able to generate 3 Jester bots. And the Jester bots, they can move, and they don't count against your actions for that turn. And only as long as there's a friendly character named Jester on the map. Now, what this means is that you're able to move these little suckers as constant tie-up, constant annoyance. You combine them with ants, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're now able to give empower to these little buggers, and so now they're 9 attack and 4 damage. haymakering at, who knows what. So these have great utility. They also have sidestep, so they can get into position easily. Willpower, so they can constantly attack if you need them to, or just move. So you're not worried about pushing them to death. You're just like, I need you over here now. And they can get there. The 8 movement is nothing to laugh at. 6 standard, and then sidestep. So there's a lot of flexibility with these gesture bots. You combine it with the benefits of a round table or some sort of team buffage. This thing is stupid. The question is who's going to break it? I don't know. I don't know who's going to break it first. But whoever does, props to you, because you're mad creative. Way mad creative. All right, let's keep on going down to Falcon. You make me cry. You make me cry so much. Anyway, let's go on. We've had some decent Falcons lately, so we're due for a craptastic Falcon. So just the law of averages when it comes to heroclix. Super senses at range is okay. Being able to automatically break away when you charge, great. Then being able to do guaranteed knockback, that's pretty good. The problem is that you get Quake. You have Quake. This special power is pointless because you have Quake. So if they took away the Quake and gave him like Precision Strike or like hell, like, anything, like not Super Strength, maybe Incapacitate. That would actually make me feel like, oh yeah, now he lands with Incapacitate, now he knocks you against the wall. That would have been awesome. Because it just says he automatically breaks away and his attacks generate knockback. Well, never mind. Not Incapacitate. Incapacitate wouldn't work because it wouldn't generate any damage for him to knock back. Just something. But no, they gave him this craptastic combo. And it's just like you could tell, like, yeah, we got to get this done. Yeah, we already made the good Falcons, or the better Falcons, in the last few Avengers sets in the Civil War movie set. So yeah, let's just do this. Like Falcon Punch is around the same points. Hell, I think it's the exact same points from Avengers Assemble. Is a better Falcon than this Falcon. But again, if you don't have that and you need somebody cheap, then you're going to put them on an ID card. Next up is Songbird. I really like Songbird for a couple of reasons. Number one, Songbird provides a high amount of utility for free actions and power actions each turn. She gives you a diversity for 70 points. You're paying full on 70 points for her full utility, and it shows. It shows in every click of her dial that she is a team player and highly useful. So let's break it down. Up front, her first 2 clicks, she has sidestep. Combined with flight means that she's a free sidestep carrying master. Okay, next up, she has a 10 movement, which means she can really get into position to deploy somebody. I mean, we always talk about, hey, TK, this, that, and the other, but let's just really break it down. With carrying penalty in play, she moves 8 and then sidesteps 2. That's 10 square deploy with putting a figure down at 11. That's a really, really good swing for a taxi. That's I mean, I know we like Vanisher. I fully understand that. But just think about this in general. To be able to move that much of a distance without a hindrance for how low point she is, that's really good. Next up, she has her Sonic Constructs, which just says, hey, Songbird can use Force Blast, Incapacitate, or Telekinesis. Dual target, Incapacitate. She can TK, and this thing that people forget, TK can be used as a range action. If it's used as a range action, you could generate Force Blast off of that attack. So that could be really huge. She also has Barrier, so you could choose either to TK or Barrier, and she has Leadership, so she has another free action that she can do to benefit your team. even though I don't think that she's going to be taking too many tokens off. I mean, going forward, she gets Energy Explosion and Perplex, Running Shot Pulse Wave at the end, but if you get that, you're already in trouble. The whole Justice Like Lightning trait just repeats, just being able to take tokens off of other, really just taking tokens off other Thunderbolts people, including like herself. So I really, really think that she is meta. I just think the fact that most people are going to overlook her. I just think that she is really going to get overlooked. Her keywords are okay. The issue is that if she was ever an Avenger, that would actually have made things better. But Masters of Evil got like a huge, huge buff from her. Like, huge buff. Like, all the Songbirds have always been great for Masters of Evil, but this one in particular, like, yeah. All right, next up is Punisher. Punisher, I'm just going to summarize this. Punisher in a Punisher van, very scary. This is probably one of the few figures that I think that's going to increase in value from the set. That's not prize support. Once we start get a better understanding of how we're going to utilize the Punisher van and what can and cannot be done, this Punisher piloting the Punisher van is going to be stupid, mainly for a Deadly Barrage. Just straight up Deadly Barrage. So I think overall we have some things to consider. Are we going to, when we look at this Punisher, are we going to play him as a standard figure, or are we going to play him as a pilot? And I'm going to tell you the truth 9 times out of 10. You're going to play him as a pilot. So really what he does and everything else doesn't matter as much, because that the vehicle is going to get into position, and then you're going to like pop out Punisher, and he's going to have a weapon, and then he's going to do crazy stuff with the weapon, and then the following turn possibly get back in the van. So there's stuff here. There is a lot of stuff here that I think that can be broken down and turned into something sick. But I'm just going to say Punisher van. Yeah, just Punisher van, homie. Next up is Taskmaster. Taskmaster, I do think we possibly can see some creativity in local meta. In high level meta, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. And here's why. Being as shallow as he is, there's enough things out there right now that can just flat out one-shot him. Okay? I mean, we've already talked about that. At the same time, when we start looking at all of his components, wildcard ability, the ability to pick his dial, being able to combine him with a resource and an entity, that's when he starts doing things that he shouldn't do. When he, or really, I think his best friend is going to be Night Lantern. If you can figure out, like, oh, I put this piece on him, then yeah, like, Night Lantern makes this guy dumb, and in so many ways. And so, moving forward, we could easily just say, like, oh, Night Lantern, he solves all the things with Taskmaster. And no, it doesn't. There are problems, just straight up like damage. Damage is a problem. Attack is a problem. But the fact that he has flat stats the entire time means that you can always plan out what you're going to do, what you need to do, why you need to do it. Okay? Then you also have, I took out the Avengers once, most of them. Give Taskmaster a free action, choose one of his combat values that is lower than the same combat value on one adjacent opposing character. Modify the combat value by +1 until your next turn, or until his dial is clicked. You can pick defense, attack, range, anything. Okay, then he has Master of all moves. At the beginning of your turn, you may turn Taskmaster's dial to another click. If you do, at the end of your turn, return him to the click he began this turn. So what I can do, just to let you know, I can declare something at the beginning of the turn with my entity, click his dial, pick again, okay? I pick again, then do everything that I want to do, and then at the end of the turn, turn it back to where I was and pick something else. If you can't see any way to abuse that, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. There's nothing I can do for you. All right, but that's strong. That is really strong. So again, I can manipulate one of my stats if I'm adjacent to my opponent. I can power myself up with the entity. I can have cool, crazy stuff because of a resource. I don't know what to tell you. This guy is really good. The question is can he carry? And in the age of the Quinjet, I don't know. That's a good question. But I do think that there's a lot of viable stuff here. Let's move on to Mach 4. I don't know how I feel about Mach 4 as a character. I don't think he's going to make Black History Month team. And I just probably just say that out front. He's probably not going to make Black History Month team. Because he pretty much pulled a tropical thunder on us. And I don't really like that. All right, so you got Justice Like Lightning. After an action resolves in which the Mach 4 damages one or more opposing characters with an attack, blah, 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 roll, 5, 6, yeah, take a character off. Yeah, take a token off. Okay, cool. All right, now, he has leadership up front. That's great. It's only one click. That part I don't like. He should have it for at least 2 or 3 clicks to make him useful. Then you have, Did You Hear My Name? Mach 4 can use running shot and increase his roll to breakaway by +1. When he succeeds breakaway after actions resolve, choose an opposing character he broke away from and deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Now, this is nice, and it would have been better if you were able to get Sharpshooter on him, because then he can, create this, I hate to say it, like this damage ball effect, where he can break away, sort of kick off, burn the guy, shoot him, and then sort of come back in. And I think that would be really great, so that you could just repeat that process to increase his damage output. So I would really love to see that as a mechanic. People using that. But again, this is going to be, a local meta hero. I don't see too many people abusing Mach 4, even though he's great. He's great. All right. I'm just going to straight out, moving on, I'm just going to straight out say it. Goliath is not that good. Atlas is okay. And I've played with both. They're just, Goliath makes me sad. Wiccan, I'm talking about Wiccan because people have false conclusions on Wiccan. Wiccan, for his point value, is not viable. Wiccan for his point value is not viable. And let's sort of break this down. I can get, what was it? I had this before the first time I've done this. So let's go to BVS. Okay, let's go to BVS. Let's do a couple of things. All right, let's first go down to Lex Luthor. Click on him. All right, what does Lex Luthor give us? He gives us Perplex and Probability Control. He has Mastermind. He also has Underworld TA. His range value is 8. It's considered to be 8. And he may use either Perplex or Prop to target an opposing character named Superman, regardless of range and line of fire. Okay, so if you have a friendly Superman on your team or dealing with the opposing Superman, you can just say flat out, I perplex and prob you wherever you're at, homie. I got you. Okay. All right, so we'll look at that and go click Alpha Pennyworth. Now, Alpha Pennyworth gives us enhancement, and he gives us empower. Then you just click them down again. Now we have 10 attack, defend, and support. Okay, and Batman TA. Okay, all right. Now let's go back. Let's go back to Civil War. Look at Wiccan. Now, no, that combo is 75 points. 75 points. Okay. So, Wiccan. Okay. What does Wiccan give us? Wiccan can use the carry ability. When he does, he may carry up to 5 characters if they have the Young Avengers keyword. So only good for Young Avengers team. So check mark, that inflated your cost for no reason. Mystical Toolage. He can use the Mystical Team ability. Again, for 2 clicks, not that useful. Sorry, homie. Alright. Then, let's look at the damage special power. Any spell you need, he can use Outwit, Perplex, Probability Control, and Support. So we already saw that I can get Perplex, Probability Control, and Support really cheaply for less points than Wiccan. Plus, get 2 TAs for that cost. Okay? So, and let's just go a little bit more salt in the wound. I did pick Alfred because Alfred is useful for, increasing, damage output because of that enhancement and empower. Let's just say I went with Night Nurse and Lex Luthor. That's 65 points. No, this is not good. I'm sorry for the fanboys of Young Avengers that are like want to give back massages to Wiccan all day and tell him he's a great figure. He's not. He's really not. He's great and sealed, but he's not a great figure. So, the fact that he has full dial energy, shield deflection is great, but you get any sort of melee character up on him and he's done. He's like, do a wrestling move, done. So, not a fan of him. But I need to talk about him because everybody wants to be like, Wiccan. He's a hero. Going to take pollution. No, that's Captain Planet. So let's go on to Venom. Be afraid. Let's just say that right now. Be afraid. And again, mainly from an ID card perspective. Because this dude is stupid level abusable. Flurry, 11 attack, 3 damage, shape change, willpower, toughness. And you just like, yep, I crank him out right in front of you and he's going to flurry on you. He has leap, climb, sidestep, steal energy. Yeah, this is good. My question is moving into the future, how do you make him a viable character on a standard team? Justice Like Lightning, all this other cool stuff that's right there in this package. It's great. We need this in the game. But how do you make this viable? How? And that I don't know. I don't think we know yet because again, Quinjet, it just comes in and wrecks shop too hard. Next up, I'm just gonna mention this. I like Cold Heart, but I don't think he's viable. Goldbug is okay. Microbe could have been something in another world, but he's not. Like he's only really good for sealed. Maybe if you could figure out something with New Warriors or Scientist theme team or something, I don't know, but not right now. Speed Freak. This is this guy definitely is going to be problems for somebody. Hypersonic speed and gank you from range, from 2 away. The other thing that people forget is you go into Golden Age. You go into Golden Age and you give him a sniper rifle. So for all of you that were like, hey, did we really dodge a bullet with this set? Yes, we did. Right there. Thank you, WizKids. If you actually had the foresight to say, before we introduce this character, the sniper rifle has to go away. Yeah, that's a good thing. Now you might say, hey, Dark Logos, he still has to place that character within 2 squares of Speed Freak. Yeah, but let's look at this. If I'm able to increase my range to 10, okay, and it just says when I hit an opposing character with, he hits an opposing character. I don't even have to use hypersonic speed. So I could just sit where I am. And let's just say I have some shield on me. massaging up my range to a nice 13. I can literally bring the character 15 square, 13, 14, 15, 16 squares. 16 squares from where it is into my, right by me, to just get beat the heck up like a gang initiation. So you're going to say, well, okay, we don't have to deal with that now, Dark Logos, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad we don't. Yay. Thumbs up. But here's the problem that I see. Folks are going to get pissed off because the inevitable, hey, guys, he went in and yanked all my team threads are going to be coming. Just like not what happened with Nightcrawler. So just be aware that that silliness is going to happen. Just be aware that it is and prepare for what's coming. Now, unlike Nightcrawler, like he can't just move anywhere. You know, Nightcrawler sort of had some really good movement stuff. This guy just ignores elevated. He doesn't ignore hindering, so he doesn't fly. Now, in comes the fact that you can then make him a giant, and that overcomes all of those other problems. So, Mitzelplick or the one Ant-Man. So, I mean, so you can do a kill box, but I'm just saying, like, that as time progresses, it's going to be, this is going to be something that people are going to revisit, and definitely in limited and no tactics, this is going to get silly. Oh, Cobalt Man. Cobalt Man. Not bad. Not the greatest. But not bad. Just something good for fun games, I'd just say. Local meta hero. Tigra, ID card only, stature. Stature isn't bad for what she does, but I would not invest in stature. Like 80 points for 8 clicks with the damage output she has is really good. You combine her with any resource right now in the meta and she's solid. So, but again, you're mainly paying for a shock trooper, somebody to absorb hits so the rest of your team doesn't. And that is actually a threat early on. And that's the thing I like about stature. She's actually a legit threat early on if you don't cripple her. And with giant reach and close combat expert, she can put a hurting on a lot of people. So I really like that. I really do like that. So let's keep going. Next up is Prize Support Captain America. Now, Prize Support Captain America is really, really strong. Stronger than Prize Support Iron Man. Now, here's why. Some of you might say, well, you said common Iron Man was better than the common Captain America, so why is the Prize Support Captain America better than the common Iron Man when they're really not that much different? Well, let's break it down. First off, he has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, ignores hindering terrain, ignores character. So he can just pretty much get through everybody. All right. Then he has a stop click, and he has combat reflexes and toughness. But he has 3 stop clicks right in a row. That is strong. No matter how you cut it, no matter what you look at it, that is very strong. That requires a lot of investment in attacks. So let's just say you outwit his defense first off, then hit him. Okay, you hit him for 4 or 5 or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're going to go to click 4. Boom. You land on the stop click. All right, now you can't outwit it. You can't ignore it, whatever. You got to hit him again. Boom. That's a second attack. All right, so now he's on click 5. Hit him again. Boom. Now he's on click 6. Combine him with a sloth relic or any other thing that allows him to heal up. Let's just say you have a medic, not even a sloth relic. Okay, let's just say you have a medic. You take the medic, then you heal up. Let's just say you heal up 2. That puts you back on click 3. Your opponent has to repeat the process. They're going to have to hit you 3 times. And in a 300-point game, that's pretty much all of your characters. Okay, you can't be standard poison because he has toughness. And it can't be outwitted. And in the meantime, you know, he is taking hits. So this figure is definitely worth it. And if you look at the movement value is not that high. So being able to carry Captain America into the fight is going to be a lot more useful than moving yourself. And that's where we're going to go and talk about Iron Man. See, Iron Man's movement is low, and he flies, and he can't be carried. And since he can't be carried, he can't get anywhere really fast. And yes, he has running shot, and that's really, zippity doo dah, nice. But the problem comes in is, again, how are you going to really get in there and do anything? Now, I see, like, again, no tactics heroes, 2 or 3 of these these Iron Mans. Yeah, like, yeah, that's going to be some types of stupid right there. Right there. Some types of stupid. Scientist theme team. I don't know how and what, but calling it. 2 of these Iron Mans together. Yeah, good luck taking those points. Oh, you have a Krang? I don't care. You only can do 1 hit. Retaliation. So, like, don't sleep on these. These don't sleep on these 2. These are really strong figures. There is nothing there that says, "Oh, hey guy, I can't be healed like other characters." Okay? Yeah, like, was it Rogue at full points? And I'm going to go over and I'm going to look at Rogue real quick because I think Rogue is it. Okay. Yeah. Rogue at full points has 1 stop click, and then you can't heal her past that 1 stop click. So, yeah, this is goodness. All right, so let's look at Punisher. Punisher is only going to, again, come back up in limited so that you can deal with that pesky Nick Fury and his friends. That's it. Like, there's no other reason why you're going to play Punisher. He's okay. He is, like I said, he's okay. Captain Marvel, again, people are going to get him for the Captain Marvel ID card, and that's it. The stats aren't bad. It's just the fact that his dial is way too short. The fact that he can get probability control, but only when he is attacking or is the target of an attack, I don't like that. But opposing characters can't target Captain Marvel with probability control. So that I do like. It's a little bit of a divine aura, just a little bit. But I don't think you can base a team around him. He's a straight up ID card character. Comes in, does 4 damage. You laugh, you cry, you sing Kumbaya, and you roll on. All right. Night Nurse. If you didn't play during Amazing Spider-Man and didn't know what a Night Nurse can do to a team, this is 2.0 of the Night Nurse, and baby got back. She is great. She's coming in with the needle in the blood bag, ready to serve, and gosh, she's awesome. Defend with a 16 and 0 damage support, 11 attack, stealth. I mean, like, dang, what can you say? I need a 5 to hit to heal you. Yeah, 20 points, 4 clicks deep. So I love it. I love it. So only thing is, you can't ask her out on a date because I think she's married to her work. Just saying for the character. All right, so next up is Sentry, and I see people talking about, is Sentry good? Sentry is questionable, and here's why Sentry is questionable. Let's look at it. First off, he has a trait. He's on our side and does what I say. When an adjacent friendly character of 40 points or more uses leadership after actions resolved, and the roll was 3 through 6, you may remove an action token from Sentry. This means that a lot of leadership characters in the meta can take actions off of Sentry. That is dumb. Okay? And I'll break down a little bit more why this is dumb. Okay? Then you have Unstable. Stop. Sentry can use Impervious. when this click is revealed. So you can't counter this impervious. Roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. Until you roll for this power again, even this power is lost. Modify sentry's combat values by the results. And this can't be countered or ignored. So this means also through Pulse Wave, it can't be countered or ignored, this stat bonus. All right, so you roll 1, -1. 2 through 4, nothing. 5 through 6, +1 stats. Okay, now, let's sort of break this down. Sentry, let's just say you roll +1 stats. You're a hypersonic speed, 11 attack, 19 defense, 4 damage, battle fury. Not really feeling that. But with all the shape change that's rolling around, this probably is not, this is a blessing in disguise, most likely, okay? Then, if we look a little bit deeper, if we get a -1, now we're at a 10 movement, a 9 attack, a 17 defense, and a 2 damage, which means you're going to hate life for a bit unless you're picking up a heavy object, okay? If you roll a 1, this guy is neutered, and he's over half your team. If you roll a 6, he's not that much stronger than what he was before. Okay? Now, why is this an issue? Why is this an issue at all? Okay? Is that when you start combining him and layering him with other effects, that it starts to become a little bit stupid. So let's look at, I think it's WizKids Marvel. And then we're going to go down to Supreme Intelligence Resource. And we're going to go here. Yeah, sorry. When building your force, blah, 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 50 points, blah, blah, blah. Keyword, doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Assigned character, hit an opposing character with an attack this turn. You may turn it up to 2 additional times. The assigned character can use display powers. Okay. Sorry, at the end of the turn, you may turn the dial once clockwise. If the assigned character hit an opposing character with an attack this turn, you may turn it up to 2 additional times. Now, why is this a big deal? Guess what you get on Supreme Intelligence? Oh, you get access to Precision Strike, which you need. You get access to Prob, which you need. You get access to Regen, which you really need. Okay, you really need Regen. All right. So now I can stack this on him, get sidestep early on, and then just zip out into the fray. All right, and that's really useful. As I generate and build up. Let's just say I land a hit, click. Now I'm on click 3. I have phasing teleport and I perplex. Okay, so now I can make a decision like, okay, do I want to stay here? Because now I have a perplex to guarantee that I always can do 3 damage or whatever else. Or do I want to keep moving on? And if I decide I want to keep moving on, I can easily just say all right, cool, keep going. Let's just say I do hit a stop click and things are still progressing. I land on click 6. Now I have Regen. Okay, bam. That's great. My following turn or whenever I can, I roll Regen. If I roll Regen and I heal past both of my stop clicks, heal, past both of my stop clicks and heal back, I have forced my opponent to waste a insane amount of time on me. I've negated several turns of my opponent. Okay, while at the same time I've hurt them. Okay, so let's just say I'm on click 7. And I roll 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, if I roll 4. Yeah. If I'm on click 6 and I roll 4, then yeah, they're going to have to go through 2 stop clicks again. Okay. So there is utility here. There's a lot of utility here. I just think that it doesn't fit most people's play style. And then also this is only Sentry you can use for the ID card, so people are going to get him just for that. I'm going to talk about 108 Spider-Man just mainly because he's not good. He's not good for what he does. He's a bodyguard. What was it? The something bodyguard. I forgot his name. Except he he doesn't have any like escapes. And so like this Spider-Man really needs like super senses or sorry, no, never mind. He can't use super senses. He needs something that will he needs shape change himself. He like let me just put it like that. He needs shape change himself. Well, never mind. It wouldn't matter because that first trait would kick in. So no, it, I don't know what. Like he's just too shallow. I just don't like him. I don't like him. So there you go. That's the best way I could put it. All right, so that's today's show. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you want to hear my comments about what's going on right now, that'll be in a separate video. If not, that's cool. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. It came from outer space and told me that great leadership in this day and age is hard to find. You can find my random musings and know when the show is up. You can also email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com if you wish to opine. Keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. Let me know, what's your summer heroclix plans so far? What are you trying to do, while the dog days of summer is out there? You can also, you could go over to the blogs, startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com and donate to the show. Everything is, all the money donated is used to make the show better. And you can check out the link below if you so choose to buy a Starting Over Podcast t-shirt or any other goodies from the shop or a Phoenix Nest t-shirt. All right. Thanks for listening. I know the world out there is crazy right now, but one thing Pokemon Go has taught me is nerddom brings us all together and makes friends out of unlikely bedfellows. So thanks for listening, and remember, we all have to start over sometime.